Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Happy March Madness opener. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it in the early hours here of this Thursday morning, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got your Alexa devices, Google devices, the app. Download it, take it on the go. Also, video stream up and rolling on YouTube here as well. Good morning, Joe, already on the YouTube stream. So what do we have on our game plan for us this morning? Brackets, predictions. Hopefully you all have them turned in. We want to hear who you have in your Final Four and your national championship, and who you have winning it all, and how far you have the Wisconsin Badgers going. So let us know already. Start to hit us up with your March Madness predictions. You can hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the Section 105 chats on the YouTube video stream as well. So let's hear those predictions. Hopefully you got your brackets turned in to our bracket challenge on our websites at sportstalk1051.com. Quite a few of you last I checked last night, or I should say yesterday afternoon, quite a few of you already having your brackets in. So, and the Badgers will be one of the first teams to tip off today as 12:50 taking on High Point. So we'll see if the Badgers can get things going here early on today and move on to the round of 32. But again, what kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the week and such, but what do you think, what's the expectation that you have for Wisconsin this year? Because, I mean, it's been a hot minute since Wisconsin has made it to the second weekend of this tournament, i.e. the Sweet 16. So do you think that's got to be the bare minimum? I feel like there's probably maybe still some of the Greg Gard doubters out there that are still waiting in the weeds here, kind of quiet. And if Wisconsin doesn't get out of the first weekend, they'll probably get a little bit louder and such. But what do you think that expectation, that bare minimum, should be for Wisconsin for the tournament? So we'll talk plenty of college hoops throughout the morning. I know we also have the state boys basketball tournament, and we've got a couple of immediate local teams that are going to be in action today. Division III, Division IV is all going to be in action today. St. Croix Central in Division III. They're going to be in action this afternoon. Eau Claire Regis is going to be the late game tonight. So best of luck to all of our all the teams that are down in Madison for the high school boys state basketball tournament. It is a day for basketball too, because you've got the Bucks back in action. If you still care about the Bucks at this point, but maybe the big story is the reports out there that the Bucks want to shut down Giannis for the remainder of the season, but Giannis is not having it, according to reports. So he is refusing to be shut down for the rest of the season. So do you think the Bucks should shut him down, or do you kind of want to see Giannis maybe just in case it's the final time he's going to be wearing a Bucks uniform? We put that up in a Post Glass and Mirror 715 Speaks poll question on the Sports Talk Facebook page last night, and a resounding 91% of you saying yes to shut down Giannis for the rest of the season. So if you haven't voted in that poll, you can go to Facebook and vote in that poll one way or the other. Obviously, 9% of you say no, because I still want to see him play his final games with the Bucks, if it is, in fact, his final games with the Bucks. So, but we'll chat about that coming up here a little bit later on. We'll throw in some baseball talk as we are 1 week away from opening day. So 1 week from today, it is the Brewers opening day. So we are inching closer and closer and closer. Harrison yesterday, Kyle Harrison, the young fireballer that we're all excited about, he exited the game yesterday with a blister on his left index finger, which to pitchers, it is something. So, but Pat Murphy said that he should be good to go and such, saying he's had issues with this in the past. It's a new grip on his changeup, and that produced the blister. It's done a little bit in the past, so it's something we wanted to get under control early. I think he'll be back on track soon. Name another profession where a blister could probably keep you out for a little bit. That's a major league pitcher there. So we'll talk some baseball and some Brewers as we get set for opening day 1 week from today. The countdown is officially on. We'll even throw a little football chat in here as well. So got some crazy, maybe some rumors or rumblings or thoughts out there when it comes to the green and gold and such. We'll catch up with Jake Boakes, our DNR warden buddy from the state of Wisconsin. So that'll be coming up at 8:30 in our normal time. If you have any questions for Jake, please start to send those on over right now. All right, start to send those on over to us on that texting line so we can get those on over to Jake. It is a Takeover Thursday, so if you have a topic that you would like to throw out there as a possibility, as a thought of, or you want to throw out for the rest of our listeners to talk about, please do so. All right, this is your chance to join in, to act kind of like a producer. So if you got a topic that you think would be a good one to talk about, let's talk about it. All right, so send it on over to us. Send it on over to us. Also, it is a ASAP Used Auto Parts, Conrad's Auto Salvage. Enough is Enough Thursday. So let's hear your enough's enough. What's that sports narrative? What's that sports take or story that you've been hearing about maybe on the social media side of things where you're just like, dude, enough is enough with this. So got a fully loaded up game plan for us on this Thursday morning for this March Madness opener. I know we had the play-in games and such, and last night you had Miami of Ohio picking up a win. So the team that went undefeated all season until their conference tournament when they suffered their first loss. A lot of people still kind of had them losing in this play-in game, but they win and they advanced. And Prairie Review A&M Panthers also advancing with a win yesterday. So now we get to the good stuff, to the good games here. So it'll start off today with TCU versus Ohio State at 11:15. So you're talking about 5 hours from now. A lot of Big Ten teams in action today. Troy, Nebraska, going to go up at 11:40. Then obviously that Wisconsin High Point game at 12:50. Michigan State versus North Dakota State at 3:05. Michigan versus Howard at 6:10. Illinois versus Penn at 8:25. So quite a few Big Ten teams in action for today. So that's where we're going to lead things off here. We're going to take our first break and then open it up, talking some college hoops. Let's get your Final Four predictions, all right? Put them in pen. Make it official. What's your Final Four predictions? How far do you have the Badgers going in this tournament? What is the expectation, the minimum that you want to see from this Badgers team? What's your national championship picks and your overall national champion? All right. Now is the time to submit those. Start to hit us up with those picks, whether it is on the Section 105 chats on YouTube or that Shoe Doctors bullpen line with a quick message at 715-830-1912. Let's take a quick break, and we'll get things rocking and rolling here this morning. Coming up after these few words. Since we're leading off talking some college hoops this morning, don't forget we are going to be at the VFW tomorrow morning doing the program, VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue for our Hoops Skip Day. So if you are taking the day off and you're looking for somewhere to watch some hoops, can hang out at the VFW Post 305. So we'll be there for the program. But the fun really starts around 11 o'clock, from 11 to 3, free beverages until we fill up our bar tab, and we'll have some prizes and giveaways and all that fun stuff too. So, again, if you're looking for somewhere to hang out to watch some hoops, head on over to the VFW Post 305. Grab yourself a free beverage while supplies last, or while the bar tab lasts, I should say, and hang out with us and watch a little basketball coming your way tomorrow. So get those picks on in. Get those picks on in, your Final Four picks and your national champion picks, and how far you've got Wisconsin going. We got intern Carter in studio as well this morning. Good morning, sir. Happy March Madness.
Yes.
Is it one of your favorite? Where would you rank this in terms of your favorite sports kind of events?
I think I'd go one.
One?
I do.
Yeah.
I love March Madness.
Yeah. All right. So you got you. Oh, I thought you had your. Do you have your bracket up? Do you have your picks? Who do? Ooh, I won't say it right now, but I'm just looking at it. Okay. All right. So, because you, since it is a takeover Thursday here, I'll just kind of jump into it, because one of your topics this morning is about Wisconsin and such, and you'd asked, how far do the Badgers need to go in the tournament for the season to be an overall success, which is kind of one of the questions that we are throwing out there. And I feel like maybe for some of the Badger fan base, they probably have maybe a little, for some that are not yet fully on the Greg Gard bandwagon, maybe they never have, or they still have questions about him, or don't think he's the right guy for the job and such. They probably have really high expectations. I would think they're probably bare minimum has to be a Sweet 16. And I get it, because it has been a hot minute since his second year as head coach that the Badgers have been in the Sweet 16. So, I mean, I understand it. I understand that, we want to get to the second weekend in a tournament for a while. But, I mean, it's so tricky because March Madness and brackets are so matchup-based and such. What do you think is the bare minimum?
Yeah, it's the hard part. I don't know. I expect them to win today.
Yeah.
But Arkansas is a good team. They have one of the best players in the whole tournament in Acuff.
Yep.
Do I really expect them to win that game? I don't know.
I think they got the talent to do so. Yeah. I mean, I look at it. If you have beaten multiple top 10, top 15 teams this year, and they were all on the road, like all of them except for one was on the road too. I don't think this is a team that's going to be intimidated by anybody in this tournament, and and regardless of where they play and such. So, but they are such a wild card team, because if that 3-point shot is not working, it's going to be a tough day. But what I think does help Wisconsin a little bit is how they fit. They beat Purdue without Nolan Winter. They beat Illinois in the tournament without Nolan Winter. They kept it close against Michigan. They had a chance without Nolan Winter. And I just wonder, is that a nice little confidence booster for this ball club, especially for the other guys that had to fill in for Nolan Winter? I mean, Boyd and Blackwell, we know they're one of the best backcourt duos in the entire country. But, you add in, Winter and Janicki too. I wonder how that finish to the season might have been a nice little confidence boost for this team.
Even experience for next year. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Sweet 16, but I'm not gonna. If they don't, I'm not gonna be one of those that says fire Greg Gard because they don't get it. I think that should be an expectation. I think it's a realistic expectation. And the thing is I think they could present a challenge to Arizona if they get there. And then I look towards that bottom half of that bracket. Let's say they end up facing Purdue. They're not going to be intimidated by Purdue. So I think if they get past an Arizona team, I'm thinking, confidence here. I wouldn't be surprised if they could go on a little bit of a run here.
The hard part is they can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody.
Yes. Yep.
So it's trying to figure out them, but it should be fun.
Yeah. So you want to? So I'm looking at your bracket right now. looks a little chalkish there, young man. Going with some high seeds and you got Miami though. You got Miami making a little bit of a run there too. So, what do you have like a process? I know some people kind of like, they have their certain ways of making brackets. Do you get into that at all, or do you just like, it's all about based off feel and such?
Yeah, I watch and pay attention to a lot of college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my pulse on things. Like,
yeah,
I don't like Purdue at all. At all. Like, I don't think they're going to go far. I just don't. So I'm losing in the second round. I like Miami. Arizona's been good all year. For Houston, it's a revenge game against Florida.
Yep.
And it's in Houston.
Yep.
So it's kind of by feel. Like, obviously, Alabama lost their star.
Right.
Else they'd maybe go farther.
Right.
I think for me, it's a lot of times hard to pick Big Ten teams because I'm like, well, the Badgers beat them.
Right.
So who else can beat them?
Right.
Like Illinois. Like, I've seen brackets that have Illinois in the Final Four. And that's mind-blowing to me because they just lost to the Badgers without Nolan Winter. But the Badgers are that good. And so, yeah, like Michigan, I don't know how far to pick them. They can lose to Purdue by a lot, or they can blow out good teams.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah. Do you want to say who your Final Four is right now since you have it up there?
I have Duke versus Houston, and then Arizona versus Iowa State. And then Arizona winning it all.
Arizona winning all over Duke
Yeah.
in the championship. So, well, I might as well say mine because I am one of those that have Illinois in the Final Four.
Okay.
So I do. I'll just kind of go through it. Let me bring it up here quick. But, mine, I don't try. I know some people say, I got to pick that 5-12 upset. I've kind of gotten over that now. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily a thing. Odds are there's probably going to be a 12-5 upset or a 14-3 upset or a 4-13, whatever the case. There's probably going to be one of those, right? That odds are. It's so hard to pick which one it's going to be. But my Final Four, I've got UConn coming out of that region against Duke. Okay. I love that region just from a story standpoint because you've got Duke in there, but then you have UConn with Hurley. You've got Michigan State with Tom Izzo. You've got Bill Self in Kansas. You've got Rick Pitino in St. John's. I really wanted to pick St. John's. I like Rick Pitino as a coach, they are a scary team too because I feel like at times when they get to the tournament, they kind of lay an egg, kind of like last year and such. I really wanted to because I wanted a St. John's and UConn rematch to go to the Final Four because I think that would be epic. Between those two coaches, but I went with UConn to get out of that region, and then in the I'm just going to call it the Florida region, South region. I'm going with a little bit. This was my upset kind of one. So I think some people were kind of sleeping on Nebraska a little bit.
Okay,
I have Nebraska beating Florida.
Wow,
and I have it set up for Nebraska versus Illinois.
Big Ten.
Yeah. So, and then I've got Illinois going to the Final Four to face UConn. I couldn't do all 1 seeds or 1 or 2 seeds. I had to put somebody else in there because I looked at the West region with Arizona. I've got Arizona advancing to the Final Four in that one. The one team I will say that besides Wisconsin in that region that confuses me is BYU. Because BYU came into this year with super high expectations. They've got a incredibly talented roster, like high draft picks. And I just don't know, are they a team that just wanted to get through that regular season and they're going to turn it on a la a San Antonio Spurs back in the day sort of thing? And then, they get to the tournament and they go on this run because they're way too talented for how they finished that season or how they went through that regular season. That to me is a scary team. And the fact that Gonzaga is losing one of their best players in this tournament, I got BYU going to the Sweet 16 for a little bit of a surprise. Just they're too talented, but they're kind of like Wisconsin. They may blow it against Texas.
Yeah.
So I went with a little surprise in BYU, but Arizona comes through that region. And I think the Midwest, if there was one for me, at least, that of the top seeds that have maybe a little bit of an easier path, I'd picked Michigan for that one because, you look at it, Iowa State, I know a lot of people are picking them. I don't. A little bit Alabama, as you mentioned, they got some issues going on off the court right now. Virginia, I think I don't know if I'm buying Virginia right now at this point. But I do have them going up against Iowa State and then Michigan versus Iowa State to get into the Final Four. I've got Michigan. So my Final Four are UConn, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan, Arizona, UConn, Arizona winning it. That's my picks. So had to do a little bit of upsets in there.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I don't know if I have. I don't have any double digits going to the Sweet 16, which odds are that's probably going to happen. And I know you do. I think you do a little bit.
I have Akron and then Miami,
You
Ohio.
go with the Miami, Ohio routes. All right. Look at that.
I don't like Tennessee. I've watched them play a couple times. They don't move the ball well. They struggle with defense. Mm-hmm. And Miami, Ohio's just playing for fun right now. I mean, they've heard the noise.
Yeah.
And they like it. So
yeah. For what it's worth, my 8-year-old did a bracket. He's got 3 Big Ten teams in the champion or in the Final Four. He's got Duke winning it all.
Oh.
Duke versus Nebraska, Purdue versus Michigan, Duke versus Michigan, and then Duke winning it all. So, yeah, he did originally have Wisconsin, but then he switched it. So, and went with Purdue. So. At least he's not C-Bomb. C-Bomb apparently has Wisconsin losing in the championship. So I hope you're wrong, C-Bomb, because I hope they win the championship.
Yeah.
How about that? So what about the rest of you? Send us your brackets. When it comes to this time of year too, when it's March Madness and such, I know a lot of people have some traditions, and is there anything that you kind of do every year when it comes to March Madness? Maybe it's not for today's games or tomorrow's games, but maybe it's Saturday and Sunday or the weekend and such. What are some of the traditions maybe that you do, or maybe when it comes to filling out your bracket too? What do you got? All right, let us know. Share it with the rest of the class here. Okay, hit us up with those messages and such. We got to take a quick break, but plenty more hoops talk coming up after these quick words. Hey, maybe you're looking for some snacks if you're going to be hanging out at home today and watching some hoops and nets. Load up by visiting our good friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, because when it comes to fresh, convenient, and delicious, they've got you covered, from fresh produce and premium meats to bakery favorites and heck, even ready-to-go meals, too. If you don't want to put a lot of effort in it, you just want to grab maybe some wings or some other stuff over there, check out the front of the store, and they're ready-to-go meal options. Everything you need is under one roof. And it's a store that feels like your neighborhood market, just a bit bigger. Plus, they've got daily and weekly deals and seasonal specials. There's always something new to discover. So make sure you are following the Hy-Vee Facebook page for some of their awesome deals and awesome specials. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, where there is a helpful smile in every aisle. If you had to pick a team in this tournament it doesn't have to be on your bracket that you picked it, but if you had to pick a team in this bracket that maybe goes a little bit on that surprise run, is there a team that kind of jumps out to you? I might go BYU on this thing.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Miami.
Yeah?
I picked them to my Elite Eight, I believe. Mm-hmm. I just like their team this year. Other than that, I have Akron in my Elite Eight, actually. Virginia. I don't know. Like Miami, Ohio could win.
Yeah.
A lot of these 11-6s, coin flips in the first round, could get far in the second round. Actually, for me, it's Louisville. So here's why. I'm seeing a lot of this as an upset pick. A lot of people pick in South Florida. Louisville is top 20 in defensive efficiency and top 20 in offensive efficiency. They've had one of the hardest schedules in college basketball. Now, they're without their best player, so that's a problem. But if they can get through this round, I really like them the whole tournament. I don't know if he'll come back, but if they get him back, I could see them going Final Four.
All right. I like it. I thought maybe I was alone on my BYU pick, but I was snooping on some of our brackets, people who put brackets in for our challenge here. And our buddy Brandon Berg, first of all, you guys can boo him tomorrow when we're at VFW because he does not have Wisconsin winning today. I don't know if he wants me saying that, but it's public, so we could all look at it. And he's got BYU in the Final Four. So that's his little bit of an upset. Surveyor, since I've got yours up here too, Surveyor has UConn, Illinois, and Arizona versus Michigan. So he copied my Final Four. But he's got Arizona over Illinois in the national championship. As Steve Baum said earlier, my bracket should tell you I don't know anything about basketball without telling you I don't know anything about basketball. I wonder, let's see if I can find Steve Baum's here on our bracket challenge. Let's see what good old Steve Baum picked here. So he's got, okay, it's not bad. You played homerism with this because he's got UConn, Houston, Michigan, Wisconsin, the Final Four, and UConn over Wisconsin. So, I mean, it's not that you don't know anything. You just played a little bit of a homer pick. It looks like you went chalk all across the board other than that. So, yeah, why not? I mean, that's how I still remember doing my first bracket. I was in 8th grade. And I did the same thing. I'm like, I'm just going to pick Wisconsin to go to the championship, to the Final Four and championship. That was the year 2000 when they went to the Final Four as an 8th seed. So wow. I thought I was the smartest person in the world because I actually picked that. But then they lost to Michigan State and such. But, yeah, I had 3 of the 4 Final Four teams that year.
Wow.
But it was all based off guessing because I was still an NBA kid at that point. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do a bracket. And, yeah. Picked Wisconsin to go all the way, and somehow they went to the Final Four as an 8th seed in Dick Bennett that year. So, but I remember as a kid, and I would like to know if we have any teachers listening right now. I know we do, but I don't know if they're going to be willing to do this. But I remember this time of year when we were in like middle school and high school, these games would be on TV right now. They would be on TV. There were certain teachers that maybe had it on more often than not. But is that still like a big thing like in school? And even like we would have the state basketball tournament games on and such. But I remember I was in 6th grade. Would that have been I remember 6th grade, Mrs. Pice's class. It was at the end of the day, and she turned the TV on, and we watched the end of a game, and I think was it the Valpo upset at the buzzer? It was like a buzzer beating shot or something like that. But I remember those games and such too. I think was it Valpo? Oh, I'm trying to go through my years and such, but that would have been 90. I think 98. I'll have to double check. I have to look at a bracket. So way before you were born.
Yeah,
way before you were born. Which. Apparently, there's a social media trend right now about, Dad, tell me what you were like in the 90s. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm at that age now. So, holy moly. So, but continue to send us your Final Fours, your national champions, and such. I've got a couple more here. We got another Brandon with his Final Four. He's got Michigan State, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, all Big Ten Final Four.
Wow. Michigan
over Michigan State for the champ. Can you even
Wouldn't
imagine?
That be crazy? Yeah.
Holy.
Wow.
Duke and North Carolina was epic for a Final Four matchup to go to the national championship, but having Michigan State and Michigan for a championship, that would be something. That would be really something here. We've got Mike with his Final Fours. Michigan State, Houston, Arizona, Iowa State, Arizona over Houston. So, and Mike also has Wisconsin in the Sweet 16, losing to Arizona. So, but all right, keep those coming. This is good. We've got again, the website is, I'll say it again, and I don't know if we can, it might be too late now, but sportstalk1051.com, fan cave tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom. That's where you can find it. So, but I don't know if it's still available this morning because we got games going on here today. So, all right, let's take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the first quarter, first hour already here this morning. Continue to send us your picks, your Final Fours. How far do you got Wisconsin going? How far do you think they need to go in this tournament? Is there a bare minimum? They have to get to the Sweet 16 this year, or they got to do this, or they just got to beat High Point. Then you're fine. I don't know. What's your expectation? All right. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back to wrap up the first quarter after these quick words. When it comes to quality meat, you don't guess. You go right to the experts at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. You're not just buying meat, but you're buying experience. Hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef, house-made brats and sausages, thick-cut chops done exactly the way you like them. This is your neighborhood butcher shop where quality comes first and service still matters. Planning a cookout or stocking up for the week or looking for that perfect steak for dinner tonight, stop on in to Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire and taste the difference that a real butcher makes. And right now, because we got Easter coming up here, so if you're thinking about what to do for maybe your Easter dinner and meal, well, Mike's right now, they're taking your orders for their Easter ham. They're offering their double-smoked, fully cooked hams this year for $3.69 a pound. So give them a call today to reserve yours at 715, when they open this morning, 715-552-3842. All right. So, and if you buy 6 packs of brats, if you buy 6 packs of brats, you can get your ham for $3.29 a pound. All right, 2 birds, 1 stone. Doesn't take a math genius to figure that out. That's a decent deal. So, Eli says Arkansas, Wisconsin will be the game of the tournament. Well, what's your Final Four, Eli? Gotta send over your Final Four. So, send that on over here as well. So. Keep those coming. Plenty of college hoops talk throughout the morning. Anybody got anything planned for today for the opener? Any traditional stuff in that? Send it on over to us so we can share it with the rest of the class. So coming up later on this morning, I might as well. I'm getting ready to embarrass myself later on, intern. We're kicking off a video series where. I'm going to be trying different sports challenges and events. I'm getting in the cage, and I'm going to attempt to hit a Major League fastball. Boy. No batting gloves, probably a wooden bat. It's going to be painful. So, yeah. Going to make it a little bit of a contest. Don't know exactly the amount of pitch. I need a little bit of a warm-up. I'm hoping they'll start off like 40 miles and then work their way up or something. My goal is... I want to stand in the box against something in the high heat in the 90s. And if we get to that, if there's 10 pitches, how many do I make contact on?
If he's throwing 90s?
It'll be a machine. So
machine is harder. I can tell you from personal experience, machine is harder. I think you got 3.
Oh, that's batting 300 just for contact.
I think you got 3.
So we're counting fall tips and all that stuff. If we get to the point where I got to lay down a bunt just to get 1, I'll probably do that. So, but yeah, I'm going to get in the cage and we'll see how it goes. So it's going to be, I don't know. They say hitting a Major League fastball is the hardest thing to do in sports. So we'll see. I want to go as fast as we can go in this thing. And I want to stay in the box and see that and kind of get that feel of 90 high heat. So. I'm going to do some other things here, too, but we're going to do it. So it's going to be up probably in a couple days after we record the video and such. So Eli's Final Four is Duke, Vanderbilt, Gonzaga, and Iowa State. So that's a different Final Four. I don't think I've seen that one before. So that's a different one for sure. But, all right, keep those coming in. All right, send them on over. We'll get back to some more hoops talk here in a little bit. C-Bomb in our Takeover Thursday did have a topic we might as well hit up before we finish up the first quarter. Said he was talking with a Jets fan at the gym this morning who is thrilled with their offseason. I have been thrilled with the Packers offseason. Whose fan bases do you think are most happy with their offseason, and whose fan bases should be the most disappointed in their team's offseason? I'd be curious to know how Dolphins fans feel. Like, do they get it? Like, okay, we just got to reset it, or they're like, man, this is going to be bad. You know, we sign a quarterback and then we get rid of everybody. I mean, I'd be curious to hear from a Dolphins fan's perspective how they kind of view this, because that one's the kind of an easy one in terms of like they're just literally letting everybody go at this point and amassing a huge dead cap. Or do they get it? Like, we know this is going to be a process to kind of rebuild everything.
Yeah, I think I'd probably say the Cowboys. I mean, they traded a fourth for Gary, so that kind of tells you something about where they're at. But just the inability for them to do nothing year after year, I think their fans aren't very happy. But the Dolphins thing, it's like, why sign a quarterback if you're going to tank? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And if you're going to tank, trade A-Chain. Like, there's no use keeping him. But, yeah, I don't know for the most happy. It's a good question.
Yeah. You know, for me, part of me almost wants to, I'm not going to, but it did cross my mind. Part of me almost wants to pick the Raiders just because they made all those free agent signings and then they get Max Crosby again. So it's like now their defense, they had a bunch on defense and such, and they have the number one overall pick. So, I mean, they were originally going to have 3 first-round picks here too, but I'm not going to pick them, but they did cross the back of my mind a little bit. So, but I know a lot of people have the Raiders as losers in that, but I'm like, they got a lot of defense. Yeah,
I do. I think they're going to be good next year if they can get a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think the Mendoza one. I'm still up in the air on Mendoza. I think don't rush it with him.
Yeah,
I think you go if they get like a Kirk Cousins to be that bridge quarterback or something. Then I know they brought in who do they got right? They didn't. No, Minshew went to the Cardinals. That's right. Yeah, Gardner.
They haven't signed anybody.
No. Other than that, I mean, I am kind of curious. Is that Jets fan just like? Is he happy because they're accumulating picks and kind of resetting everything? Because, I mean, Geno Smith, I'm not a Geno Smith type of player either, or type of fan either. So I'm C-Bomb, why was he excited or happy with his offseason so far? So, I mean, I'm happy with what I think it's ridiculous that some people are now saying, well, Green Bay's moves, they got older, so that's why they're not great. I'm like, so they were getting criticized for the last 2 years for being the youngest team. They added 2 players that are like going to be 30 or 33, and that's a downgrade for them. I didn't get that. I do like what the Steelers have done. I know the big question is who's the quarterback, but I mean you got it up right there actually. Pittman Jr. and then Rico, and you know. I saw a graphic the other day about some of their offensive weapons. If you're Aaron Rodgers, why wouldn't that intrigue you to come back for one more year?
Yeah.
You DK and Pittman, and then you got a 2-headed running back duo that I think is pretty darn solid. So I kind of like what Pittsburgh's done too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think maybe if you're the Jaguars, you're not happy because you haven't done anything. And your GM, I mean, you lost Travis Etienne, Devin Lloyd, and your GM has already come out and said a week or so ago that you're really not going to be making any moves because you want those picks. You want comp picks for next year, and you don't want it to affect that. So, I mean, this was a Jaguars team that way exceeded expectations last year. You'd probably think, okay, can we, maybe cash in on this? But your GM's like, nope, we're good. We're not going to be doing anything like that in the offseason. So maybe you're a little bit disappointed in that aspect.
I think, too, the Patriots messed everything up. I mean, paying Dobbs $20 million aside, I just don't like the additions they added, especially because they needed a number one. They cut Diggs, and then they signed Dobbs, who has never been a number one, and he's had the opportunity. So I really don't think they were in a Super Bowl. They had to make a couple moves to be able to win the Super Bowl, and they really made no moves. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dobbs is practically Stephon Diggs, just not as vocal. Mm-hmm. They got Byard. He's an all right safety. He's really old, and their linebacker Drummond Jones, he's old as well. Like I really don't think they made any moves to bolster their roster, and that's kind of what they needed if they wanted to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. I'll say one team that I kind of like what they did too. I'm going to go Titans. They had a boatload of cash. They go out there and they get perhaps the best, one of the better interior defensive linemen available with Franklin Myers. They make the trade for Johnson from the Jets, and they're going to have a high pick in this thing here too. I kind of like some of the moves that they made to help bolster that roster a little bit. So I kind of like, not a ton of splashy moves, but I think, again, that's another former Packer front office person helping lead that charge over there too. So I kind of like some of the moves that they did with that Titans team. So,
and even if it's one, the Broncos adding Jalen Waddle is a big move.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I would love it as a Broncos fan.
Yeah. I think Kansas City getting Kenneth Walker was big for them, especially with, we don't know when Patrick Mahomes is going to be back. But the one thing with the Chiefs, they got rid of, like, who's going to play corner for them now too?
Yeah.
That's the other part. Is like, oh boy, here we go. So, I don't know if I would have that clear cut, like, team would be pumped, ecstatic, excited sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe if you're the Lions, are you a little bit down because they didn't do a lot in terms of offensive line? Maybe I don't know, but
because they had what's his name retire to one of their best offensive linemen,
and then Taylor Decker's out of there too. But I saw, was it like the Bears and the Vikings have the least amount of cap space right now?
Yeah, the
to
Bears
go and play with. So there's not a lot that they can do. But I mean, they did bring in Devin Bush and such too. So we'll see how that. But they lose Kevin and obviously traded DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. So all right, good question. Shot clock's going to cut us off here. So coming up next hour, we'll talk a little baseball. I do want to talk some more football too, more Green Bay related. So we'll